Welcome back, gamers and friends. If you're even my friends, what am I to you? Am I a joke, your knight, or your brother? What am I to you? Do you look down on me cause I'm younger? Do you think that I don't understand? I just wanted to get together and to play as a band. Last night was the most fun I ever had with each other. Today, we'll be checking out the two-player card game, Adventure Time Card Wars by Cryptozoic Games. This is a two-player card game based off of one of the Adventure Time episodes where Jake and Finn battle to determine who's the cool guy and the dweeb. Of course, if you already know how to play Card Wars, go ahead and click on it to jump right to my conclusions. Otherwise, let's find out what's in the box and how you play the game.
It's board games with PeedMont.
I have the BMO and Lady Rainicorn Collector's Pack, but the basic contents of the starter packs will be the same. Inside of Adventure Time Card Wars, you will find one full-color rulebook, which has everything you need to know, but it does kind of talk to you like you own the Jake and Finn decks, but it's still understandable. Very nice. You'll find 8 landscape cards, which these are basically like your land powers you think of Magic, and these create the lanes that we'll be talking about during gameplay. In this set, Lady Rainicorn uses the sandy lands, and BMO uses the useless swamps, and each one has 4 of those. Then you'll get 1 crap ton of these damage tokens, which are reversible, 1 damage and 3 damage. And these are used because the creatures, when they take damage, retain the damage until the next turns, basically. Then you'll have the 2 40-card decks. As I said, BMO uses the useless swamp decks, which is basically these black cards with the little mosquitoes on them. And this deck is all about discarding your own cards to pump up your creatures. You get this magic ring ding, which gives you +1 attack for every 5 cards in your discard pile. Or you have a, I don't know, whatever, Mace Stump that target opponent discards a card for every 5 in yours. Very cool. Or Teeth Leaf, where you have 10 cards in your discard pile, you pay 2 fewer actions to put them into play. Basically free. Very cool. The other deck, Lady Rainicorn's, is the Sandylands deck. And this is a deck based around pumping up your creatures by bringing in other creatures. Like this green Cactoball, he gets +2 attack for each other green Cactoball you control. So bringing in more creatures makes him stronger, and etc. Let's see, what else? The Shark. Each time a Sandyland character enters play, he gets a +1 attack. So this is a very powerful kind of beatdown deck. And if you could just continually pound on your opponent with lots and lots of creatures, you're going to win. The goal of Adventure Time Card Wars is to knock your opponents down from 25 life to 0. And the first person that does that is the cool dude. And the person who goes down to 0 is the dweeb. Adventure Time Card Wars largely revolves around these landscape cards, which make this kind of unique laning mechanism, and also set up basically what kind of type your deck is. You can make your own later as you collect cards, but in these basic sets they're largely one color, one landscape. Like I said, Lady Rainicorn is the sandy lands, and BMO is the useless swamps. And you could think of this as like a black deck in Magic, and I don't know what, maybe a green deck in Magic. But in later games, you might even have 2 different ones, or maybe 3 different, lands, with one of them being 2. And we'll talk about why of that in just a second. But in this case, BMO uses the useless swamps, and Rainicorn uses the sandy lands. On your turn, basically to start the game, you'll shuffle up the deck and draw 5 cards. On your turn, you draw 1 card, and you have 2 actions. And we'll talk about those right now. In other trading card games, your currency is mana or quests or energy or something like that, but in this game you have actions. Every turn you have 2 actions, and you can kind of see each card has an associated cost. Some of them cost 2, meaning that would be the only thing that you could do that turn, summon this creature. Some of them have 1, meaning you could do 2. You could summon 1 green Cactoball and 1 celestial castle, because that takes 2 actions. And others are 0. They'd be free. I don't have those in my hand, but they have a 0 on them. Finally, you can use one of those actions to simply draw a card. Or you could use both of them to draw 2. When you summon a creature, you pay its action cost. In this case, let's say I summon the Mariachi. And they go into one of your 4 lanes. You can pick which one. Say I throw him there. Each creature has an attack and a health. And some of them have the ability to floop. Flooping you can do on your turn, anytime, turn them sideways, and you do the special action. In this case, the Mariachi deals 1 damage to target creature for each creature that entered play this turn. So this is a nice one to have if you have some 0-cost creatures in your deck. Put all of him down, and then all of those, and deal 3 damage by flooping him. Very cool. If a creature is flooped, they will not attack that turn. And basically, after you've summoned all your creatures, all of the creatures that you have will attack. Every turn, all creatures attack. It keeps it really simple. Associated with every card's action cost, they need a specific type of landscape in their deck in order to let them be played. In this case, Lady Rainicorn has 4 Sandy lands, so she can summon anything. But if you want to put this card in a different deck, you'd have to have at least 1 Sandy landscape. Similarly, if you want to be able to play this super powerful Lost Golem, you actually need to have 3 Sandy landscapes in your deck. This is where the deck building comes into play. So if you want to have this Lost Golem, you need 3 Sandy lands. And that means that you can only have some other card. Maybe if you wanted to have useless swamp cards in your deck, I won't be able to play this Green Mermaid because he needs 2 actions and 2 useless swamps in your deck. So maybe if I wanted to mix things up and have 3 Sandy lands and 1 useless swamp, I could put some of these gray Eyebats in because he only costs 1 and only needs 1 useless swamp. Now we'll take a look at attacking. After you've spent all of your actions, all of your creatures will attack that you have in play. No questions, really simple. So you just simply look at their attack and health. The Mariachi does 2 damage. This Grey Eyebat has 7 life. No problem, it's still alive. The Grey Eyebat does 2 damage to the Mariachi who has 9 life. No problem, it's still alive. But, as you'll see, sooner or later the Grey Eyebat's going to lose to the Mariachi. He's got less life. Every creature will do their attack, they deal their damage at the same time, and you simply add on the tokens until they're dead. The righteous and totally strategic aspect of this game comes from the fact that your monsters are going to deal damage to each other every single turn. So if you have one that's in danger of dying, on your turn it's going to attack and kill itself off whether you want it to or not. So you can't always summon a creature in place of one. You basically get rid of the one that's there and put a new one in play. That way you'll have a full health defender at any time you need. The next kind of card we'll talk about are the buildings. You can see from this card, which is a rainbow card, meaning I can play it with any deck. It can be placed in any lane, and it will give whatever creatures in that lane plus 3 defense. You place buildings behind the land, so let them know that they're there, but they don't count for filling up a lane or defending as a creature or anything like that. They just give creatures in your lane a special ability. Finally, the last kind of card in Adventure Time Card Wars is a spell. These are a lot of the time rainbow, meaning they can be in any deck, they don't need any specific landscapes, and they are like a one-time use. In this case, the Cerebral Bloodstorm deals 1 damage to each opposing creature. You can see on this one, this has the special code for my iOS app. Don't steal that, please. Thank you. And that's basically Adventure Time Card Wars. You take turns, smashing your creatures into each other, flooping the pigs, trying to damage your opponent. First person to knock your opponent down from 25 life to 0 is the cool guy, and whoever loses is the dweeb. I think this game is really fun. I think it's not given enough credit for how strategic it can be, and I think it will be really well received by the population. I know when Pokemon, the tradable card game, first came out, I kind of thought, what the heck is this? It didn't really feel, I don't know, very robust. But then it has a really thriving competitive community that plays tournaments all the time. And I think the same could be true of this, especially once you get into the deck building, trying to put together some of these cards to make really cool combos. And given its theme, I think basically the sky's the limit, and I can't wait for the new expansions to come out. Altogether, I think Adventure Time Card Wars is a really fun game. I think it's strategic. I think there's very little, I don't know, I guess luck. You're just kind of, it's light enough that it doesn't feel so bad when you don't get a perfect draw, and you're never, you never get mana screw in this game. You always have 2 actions that you can do every turn, and I really like that. I like that they took from Warcraft the kind of idea that your creatures are going to retain the damage they've taken, so you never have to worry about one super strong monster beating you up the entire game. They're going to be taken care of over time. I think there's enough in this game for some really cool strategic combos you can put together with mixing up the kind of landscapes. There are actually 6 different pre-constructed decks for this game, so if you're going to get really into this game, you're going to spend some money. There's booster packs, but you don't need them. I think you can spend $45 or so and get the six decks and really have a great time for a long time with just those 6 different decks. If you want to get into that deck building, you can really do that. There's a lot of fun in that aspect of the game also. And altogether, I really like the game. I think it's definitely not given enough credit. My only drawback of the game, I guess for me, is the quality. The punch-out landscapes are just kind of rough. The damage tokens are really rough. The cards are printed all the way to the edges, so that if you actually look at the side of your deck, you can see which cards are, Sandyland cards, which cards are useless swamp cards, which ones are rainbow cards. And for competitive play, that's not great or ideal. And the cards also have these really rough edges to them. I guess you could sleeve them and you wouldn't really notice a lot of that, but it is noticeable when you're just playing with it straight from the box. Anyways, if you're into Adventure Time at all, I would definitely say check this out. If you like two-player card games, I would say check this out. And if you just think that Flooping the Pig is hilarious, definitely check it out. Also, if you've never seen the Card Wars episode or watched the Adventure Time Dungeons & Dragons spoof, I will put them up here, the notes about them. They're hilarious and you should check them out. BMO, what's your favorite card? Tree of Undeath? Freaking creep.